Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Labor Live at 12:05. My name is Alex Jorgensen, and I'm the Communications Director here at the Alaska AFL-CIO, and we are in the final week of Labor Month, where we are talking about all things labor. And this week is all about the really important relationship between politics and organized labor. I think a relationship that oftentimes some people wish didn't exist, but is a necessity for our movement. And I have, I think, the most perfect guest to talk about this really important subject, a dear friend of mine, brother Bob Struckman. Bob, how are you doing?
Doing great, bro. Good to see you. Good to see you. Always glad to be talking to Alaska.
Yes. And for those of you that don't know, Bob has been on this program. You're a regular guest, I would say. He is hopefully I'm getting this right, Western Field Representative for the National AFL-CIO.
Yep.
Nice, got that. So Bob, we are talking about kind of all things politics this week for Labor Month. And I'm wondering I know you've been involved in the labor movement for a while. You have a lot of really great experience. What is kind of maybe that historic relationship between organized labor and politics?
Well, you can't really take labor out of politics or politics out of labor, because our rights are codified and recognized in laws, right? So we, not that long ago, a short century ago, basically, union organizers were considered and legally considered to be little more than thieves. And I mean, they were like criminals, petty criminals, and so like down in the level of thieves or other criminals. And it wasn't until the National Labor Relations Act was passed in the 1930s that we actually got recognized as having value of being having an actual a place in the world. That's not quite true. You got your railroad unions, got others who had collective bargaining rights before that. But as far as generally most workers, that was waiting until the National Labor Relations Act was passed. And state by state, down to the municipal level and at the federal government, our lives are, just as in the rest of our lives, are controlled really in so many ways by politics, whether it's schools, stuff like that. And so it's really important for us to recognize that politics shapes us. And so if we want to not just be pushed around, we need to start to shape politics too.
Absolutely. No, and I think there's never been, a better time that is relevant for this discussion, in the sense that, we've seen workers' rights to collectively bargain stripped away with the stroke of a pen, and not just like a couple workers here and there. I mean, we're talking almost 1 million U.S. workers that work for the federal government have really just had all of their rights stripped away by a politician, not a bureaucrat that keeps the government working, but by an elected person that runs for office, and that is inherently political. So, all the time, I think, on our social media channels, we always get these comments of, the union should really just focus on workers' issues, right? But as you're kind of saying and kind of pointing out, workers' issues are sometimes decided at the ballot box, right?
Yeah. I would say they're affected always by the ballot box. And our unions are political too, right? We have, our unions are democracies. And one of the really important things about labor unions is they give people a chance to learn about politics, to practice politics, and to practice the really important thing about politics, which is making decisions that impact other people and doing it responsibly, learning how to do it responsibly. I really think that our unions are a training ground for democracy, and we should all recognize them as such, because we need more options. We need more people who are trained in democracy and ready to apply those lessons, to the broader public.
I could not agree more. So maybe for the viewers at home that are maybe not super engaged in politics today, what are some ways that union members that aren't maybe familiar with politics or haven't really dipped their toe into it, how are some ways that union members can kind of get involved in the electoral process?
A lot of ways. probably one of the most important things people can do is, if you want to dip your toe in, right? You want to just like really, really, really dip the toe in. You might tell your steward or your local business agent or business manager that you'd like to get involved in a COPE committee, which is a committee that looks at candidates and gets involved with candidates. You might tell your steward or your leader, whether it's a business agent or your president or whoever, that you'd like to know about what's happening in the labor council. Now, here's the thing: every one of our labor councils needs volunteers. We need people who will do, start at whatever level people are comfortable with. And that's honestly, the sky's the limit in terms of like how much you want to put into it. But if people want to get involved, tell your steward, tell your leader that you'd like to know more about it, get your feet wet, whatever. That'd be the best. I think that'd be a really good way to do it. For those who want to go above and beyond, who really want to learn what it's like, they can actually, you can talk to your union leaders and you can tell them that you'd like to run for office. Because we love it when union members run for office. And I have some excellent friends in the Alaska AFL-CIO who train people to run for office and help them run and help them win. And they have a fantastic track record of electing people to public office. So there's a lot of ways to get involved. Those are a few.
Yeah, and I'm really glad you mentioned kind of a wide variety, right? You don't have to run for office. We love it. We love it when union members and workers run for office. But there are really simple things, as you mentioned, just reaching out to your steward or your business manager saying, "Hey, I'm looking to get more involved," and they're going to plug you in. As always, here in Anchorage and in Fairbanks, we run really active labor programs during election cycles. So if you're in Fairbanks right now, news to you, maybe there's a local election going on where we're electing mayors, council members, and school board members that need your help. These are, elected officials that are going to benefit working families. So if you're in the Fairbanks area, come out to a labor walk that's actually happening this Saturday at 10 a.m. at the Alaska IBEW Hall, 1547 on 2000 Airport Way in Fairbanks. So again, a lot of different ways to get involved. But Bob, as we're kind of closing out here, any kind of last minute notes you want to touch on about kind of this important relationship between politics and organized labor?
Well, yeah, thank you. And okay, so whether you're frustrated in national politics, or you want to make a difference locally, or you want to get involved in your union in different ways, politics is a really, really good way to make a difference. Right now, in Fairbanks, across Alaska, you can make a huge difference, and it's a lot easier than you think. The door knocks that my brother Alex was mentioning up in Fairbanks are easy to do. They're fun to do. It's like, you'll talk to other union members about what's at stake in the local municipal elections. And believe me, there is a lot at stake. This is gonna decide a lot of local issues in town and a lot of local issues in that neck of the woods, and it's going to make a difference that will last. So come out, volunteer, get involved, and you'll see Alex and Kim. I think we'll be up there, right? Yeah. And
yep.
It's just a great way to get involved. And if you've never done it before, you're welcome. If you've done it before and you want to come again, you're welcome. If you're a long time, callous and tough, long time volunteer, you're welcome. But come on out and make a difference.
Well, brother, thank you as always for coming on the program. We always appreciate your insights into labor, and thank you for taking time out of your day to talk about a really important subject.
Thanks a lot, brother. Have a good one.
All right, folks, that is it for today's episode of Labor Live, and we will have a bonus episode. I know you might be hearing this for the very first time, but we will have a bonus episode of Labor Live at 12:05 actually airing this Sunday, where we're talking about labor in the pulpit. a historic relationship or a program of the National AFL-CIO that explores the relationship between dignity for all working people in different faith communities. So make sure to tune in this Sunday to tune into that next episode and last episode for our Labor Month programming. But we will be continuing Labor Live at 12:05 on an every other week basis until we get into the legislative session. So if there's a topic that you want us to cover on Labor Live at 12:05, drop it in the comments. We want to hear what you want to hear about. So again, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you